Fucking do what you gotta do to get in a good headspace, because I think this is gonna be a kind of fun little video. Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're having a great week. I'm so happy it's almost over because I kid you not, I did more in this week for school than I have like in this entire semester. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. I had a presentation, so I had to like be modest or whatever, even though I don't own like professional clothing at all. So I was the bitch in a long sleeve cotton t-shirt and a short as fuck denim mini skirt that girls usually wear to like get drunk in. Just up there presenting. Look at me, I'm a fucking skank. For today's video, I thought I would do something like a little more fun, I guess. So get prepared to just like hear some stories, maybe have a laugh. I just had this idea last night, like randomly, about how I've done so many things with my life that I always told myself I'd never do, which I just think is really interesting, like as life advice in general, that you should never say never. I know that's cliche, and also never make plans, because when you make plans, God laughs at you. So basically, don't ever say that life for you is going to go one way or another, because you really don't know, and don't say like I'll never do this or never be like that, because there's honestly a pretty high chance of you doing or becoming what you said you'd never do or become. And that can mean minor things, which some things on this list are minor and silly, and some things are more like serious, like life altering. So I don't know, it's just kind of a funny little video as like proof that you really should never say never. Let's get into the list of things I said I'd never do and then I ended up doing. Some of these things are like super silly and some of them are like more extreme, so just bear with me. But the first thing I thought of was, growing up throughout my whole life, literally up until recently, I've always been the person that never understood people who like wore shoes inside their house or would like put on slippers or house shoes or whatever to be in their house. I've never been like that. I've always been like, I'll just go barefoot or like wear socks, like it's my house, like I know how clean it is. But recently, over the past like year or two, and it's definitely because I live in a shit college apartment and we don't clean this place well, and if you walk around barefoot or even with socks, your feet will be black and covered in animal fur, human hair, dirt, fucking resin, and ash from like smoking apparatuses, stickiness from the spilled liquor and juice and mixers all over the floor. Like, I've just learned the hard way too many times that maybe wearing slippers or house shoes is beneficial, and I've gotten to the point lately where I almost will not walk around without having some sort of shoe on my foot. I just noticed like, oh my god, like I always said that it was weird when people did that, and now I'm one of those people. So, second thing, this one was a huge one for me, and it was literally mind-blowing to me when I realized that it was like happening to me, because it's something that I always swore would never happen. All my life, up until literally 6 months ago, I've told myself that I will never date or give someone a chance even that has a child, because I'm like so anti-children. I don't know if I want children of my own, so the thought of like being with someone who has a child that's their own, that's not made with me, and like I'm gonna be a step parent or whatever to this other child, like that's such a turn off to me. Like if I don't even want my own flesh and blood child, what makes you think I want to partake in helping you raise yours, okay? So I've always been against that until I met the 35-year-old guy who had a kid, and I actually was so chill about it. Like I didn't even like wince when he said he had a kid, like maybe for a second, but like once I got to know him, which was pretty quickly because we spent a whole weekend together right after we met, I like was totally on board with the kid thing. Like it didn't turn me off. When he talks about the baby mama, I didn't feel jealous or insecure or weird about the fact that there was a baby mama, which I always thought I would. When he talks about his kid or showing pictures of his kid, I didn't feel like, oh my god, this guy's a dad. I just viewed him as like this person who I really enjoyed and liked, and him having the kid was just part of him. And I'm still like in this moment floored that I even was like allowing of him having a kid, like the fact that I even gave him a chance, and like clearly we didn't date and we're not gonna date, I fucking know, but I'm just still so shocked that I even was willing to date or willing to spend all this personal intimate time with someone who has a fucking kid. Like, who am I? These two things are kind of like silly, like I feel like everyone kind of thinks these things, but literally all through high school, like I was not cool at all in high school. Y'all already know. I have videos about it. I'll link one below. I have a whole video about my high school experience and how it wasn't great and how I wasn't cool. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out. Anyway, all through high school, I was such a goody-goody. So literally up until 18, 19 years old, like fucking old. Like most people at 18, 19 are drinking, getting high, having sex, maybe dabbling with like more harder drugs, like the cool kids, you know. 18, 19 is kind of a late age. Like you're a legal adult now. up until that age, because that's when I graduated high school, I was so anti-drinking, smoking weed, anything past weed, like real drugs, I thought was like literally a fucking sin. Like, if you do this, you'll die kind of thing. I was like, I will not drink. If I do drink, I'll have like a 2-drink maximum. Like, I never want to feel drunk. I don't want to feel out of control. I don't even want to know what it feels like to feel drunk. I don't want to smoke weed. I thought weed, y'all, was so bad. Like, I thought weed was the devil's lettuce. I literally thought weed was the equivalent of like cocaine or Xanax. Like, I thought it was such a bad drug because obviously I didn't know anything about it. I'd never even like seen weed. Couldn't tell you what a pipe, a bong, a grinder was. I didn't know anything about it. Thought it was horrible. And now here I am, almost 23 years old, gone through 4 years at FSU. What do you think? And I just think it's so funny to think back that literally just 4 years ago, I thought I would never touch literally half the things that I've dabbled in, because college, let me tell you, let me warn you, you will do things that you don't think you would ever do. Let me tell you, when you are tipsy or drunk at a frat pregame and this hot, cool as fuck guy is vibing with you, flirting with you, wants you to come upstairs to his room, not to fuck, because people don't do that, that's weird, wants you to come up to his room to like drink in private, whatever, maybe roll you a blunt, maybe give you a little bit of something, you're probably going to want to do it because you're going to want to seem cool, and when you're drinking, your inhibitions are lowered, so you're not thinking of it as being a bad idea. This is not me saying that I think you should like dabble in drugs or whatever the fuck. Obviously be smart and shit about what you do and what you put in your body, but in college it's just everywhere, and there's a way higher chance than not that you will try it rather than never try it in your whole life, you know? I just think it's especially funny though that I literally thought I wouldn't ever like drink. Like, I remember 2 days into FSU, I was invited to go out by my bid day buddy for XYZ, and we stopped at an XYZ pregame before going to the bar, and it was filled with XYZs. It was some girl's birthday or something, and they were like, stand on this chair and like say a fact about themselves and then do a pull, which is when you just like drink for like 3 seconds from a handle of liquor. Like, you just drink some straight liquor, like taking a shot, but you're doing it from the bottle. And I was like, I'm absolutely not doing that. I can't do that. I do not take pulls. I don't even really drink drinks that taste good that are mixed with juice. Like, I'm not doing that, and everyone else was doing it, and I felt so uncomfortable, and I felt like I'm never gonna fit in, I'm never gonna be a cool college girl, I'm never gonna be a cool FSU girl, I'm never gonna be a good, cool sorority girl because I can't even stand on the chair and take a pull. Like, that's how scared I was of like drinking or like getting actually drunk, and like it literally only took like 2 weeks for that to get killed at FSU. That's how quick FSU like ruins your life. Something I thought I'd never do also up until 18 and 19 years old, all through high school, such a goody y'all, never thought I'd have casual sex. Like, I legitimately, not kidding, up until I was literally 19, thought that I would only have sex with people that I was dating, which meant I would find someone and date them until we were boyfriend-girlfriend, and then once we were like serious boyfriend-girlfriend commitment, before they were anywhere close to slithering in my chamber of secrets, okay? And I just think that's so funny. I just think that's hilarious. I've had so much casual sex now, y'all. There's too much of a stigma around women having sex, and it's a stupid stigma. Like, I've only had like 2 or 3 guys in my life that have really cared about me that I've cared about back, so only those 2 or 3 guys have been people that I should have fucked if I followed my rules for life up until 19 years of age. That all went out the window when me and my ex broke up. I got to FSU, I met the ultimate fuckboy night 2 of college, and he fucked me. And fucked me over. That just started the tailspin of casual sex, y'all. Funny now. I thought I would never get tattoos. I was so scared of the pain. I also didn't think I'd want something permanently on my body. I couldn't get over like thinking like, okay, let's say for example I got a tattoo here. It's so weird to me to think like this skin, this area of my body would forever look different if I got something tattooed there. So like just all these different reasons I didn't think I could do it. Also, my parents are old school. They hate tattoos. They hate that I have tattoos. They hate that my sister has tattoos. Every time I get a new tattoo, like their soul dies a little bit inside. So I was definitely raised like anti-tattoos, raised pretty conservatively. Socially liberal things are gonna rub off on you no matter who you're raised by. So I have like 5 or 6 tattoos at this point. I actually just got a new tattoo last Monday, so I've only had it for like 11 days now. Let me know if y'all want me to do a whole video on my tattoos and what my tattoos mean, because all of my tattoos I've gotten at points in my life that I like almost needed them. Like, there's so much meaning behind the tattoos that I have, even if they seem super cliche and silly. I'm so addicted to tattoos at this point. Like, by the time I die, I am going to have so many tattoos. Anyway, I'll show you the new one I just got just for shits and gigs. That little guy, it's a bunny bear thing. I'm not sure, but that symbol, that little character, was stamped on my wrist to go into a bar called Antone's on 6th Street over South by Southwest. And Antone's is like a super old, like classic Austin bar. And when they stamped it on me, I don't know if it was just because I was fucked up or what, but it like spoke to my soul. I literally took a picture of it, fucked ass up as hell, being like, I feel like I'm gonna get this tattooed on me one day. And here I am, like literally just like 3 weeks later, have it already tattooed on me, and underneath it says ATX, which is Austin, Texas. But I also want like a huge Texas tattoo and like the Austin skylines. Like that's not even like representative of Austin. That's just representative of like my youth. I don't know. If you want me to talk about my tattoos, that's gonna be a separate video because all of them have so much in-depth meaning. I don't want to get into it right now. Something else I said I'd never do, which now is so laughable because now it's my like preference, is literally just up until like a year ago, I always said that I would not go for someone in their 30s. Like just being in my early 20s, I just felt like someone in their 30s would be way too big of an age gap. Like 10 years up would be really pressing it. I remember a guy from Tinder or Bumble or something like over a year ago wanted to meet with me so bad, and he was 34, and I just felt like I'm 22, he's 34, like that, no, I don't fuck with that. And now I think it's so funny because now I prefer people to be in their 30s, like the 35-year-old guy. Are you kidding? I literally like had a thing with a 35-year-old man with a fucking toddler. But what I think is so beautiful and interesting about that, which I want to talk about so much more in depth in a different video, is that every little situation like that, no matter how great or poorly it may turn out, like low-key dating a guy with a kid for 6 months, and low-key dating this doctor guy that I fell in love with who ended up dumping me for someone else, and having this high school boyfriend that cheated on me and got a cocaine addiction, like all that stuff is part of what makes your life story. And I just think it's so dope that no matter how painful those things might have been for me to go through in the moment, like being broken up with or finding out my boyfriend did cocaine enough to have an addiction, I don't fucking know. Well, all that shit was devastating. When I'm like a 90-year-old grandma, like talking to my fucking 25-year-old grandkids about my fucking life, they're gonna think I'm so dope. Like, grandma dated all these men. Remember the time grandma dated someone 13 years older than her with a kid? Remember when grandma puked all over a frat house? Like, all the things that seem so crazy and devastating or heartbreaking or silly or even amazing that happened to us throughout our life, like, all those little things are making your life story. Like, you're literally writing your own story right now. And just think about how cool it's gonna be to reflect on that shit when you're literally old. So that's another reason why you should really value like everything that happens in your life and every person you meet, no matter how shitty or how great it is, because it's all adding to your story. Something I thought for sure, I would still think it to this day if it hadn't happened, that I thought for sure would never happen to me, a little white girl, was go to jail. I spent 7 hours in a holding cell. I've spent way too much time at the Leon County, Tallahassee downtown courthouse. I've had too many court dates. I've spoken to too many judges. Too much. I can't even believe it. It all worked out in the end, but still, the fact that I can honest to God say, like, I've been to jail, someone came to my door, arrested me, put me in handcuffs, took me in a cop car, put me in a cell, like, I've been through that. That's not something that I should have ever experienced. And if you haven't heard my story about the time that I was arrested, sophomore year of college, I'll put that story down below too. Y'all are gonna think this one's really funny, but literally my whole life up until junior year of high school, like halfway through junior year, so like I made it through most of high school. I almost made it out alive, but silly me just couldn't be content being the nerd I was, being friends with the nerd kids. I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I want to be cool and popular. Mom, Dad, fuck you. Buy me Lily Pulitzer, Jack Rogers, all this expensive preppy shit and clothes that I actually think is heinous and hideous as fuck, but I want it just to fit in so bad. Parents spent all this money on all this super preppy, expensive, cool, popular person shit for me to live out my last year and a half of high school in, so that I could make friends with all the girls that dressed like that, because I just wanted to fit in so bad. And I did fit in. I faked it until I made it. I was friends with popular girls by the time I graduated my high school, but I wasn't that happy, and a lot of the friendships were fake, and I don't talk to any of those girls now, and I don't wear any of that preppy clothing. But because I did all that and wanted to fit in, part of fitting in with the girls I was hanging out with meant that you were absolutely going to be rushing when we all went to college. And everyone's moms have been in sororities, except my mom. My mom is like not like that at all. Everyone already had rec letters. Like everyone was freaking out about it. Literally like start of senior year of high school, recruitment was already being talked about as if it was like the school you were going to. Like recruitment was more important than where you were going to school and what your degree was going to be in and what scholarships you got. Recruitment was like the end all be all of your fucking life. So because of that, I decided I was gonna rush, and it became super important to me the way it was super important to all the girls that I was associating myself with. And if I just stayed true to myself and not have rushed because I didn't want to rush until junior year, I wouldn't have gone through all the bullshit I went through. And basically, I was just right all along. I knew all along that I wasn't made for that shit and I wasn't right for it, but I just wanted so badly to fit in. And fitting in at a big public university, I thought meant you had to be in Greek life, and that's just what I was gonna do. And I just think it's so funny that I actually joined a sorority, because even like 16-year-old Brighton would be like, no, you're never gonna be in a sorority, what the fuck? And then here I am, just in the future, disappointing myself. Sometimes you're right about the never say never. If I just stuck to my guns on the never rush thing, it would have been okay, but I just had to do it. And one last thing to conclude this list, not gonna go into detail about it, but something I said I'd never do that I've done now too many times is butt stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this list. I hope you have a great night. It's a Thursday night. People start to go out Thursday nights. I mean, at least in Tallahassee, where everyone's a degenerate. I'll be going to Township tonight, 10 p.m. If you see me, say hi. Have a great weekend. Have a blessed day. Kill it with your finals if you're still in school. Kill it at work if you're a real adult. Yeah, I just hope you're all fucking killing it. I'm in a good fucking mood. Maybe it's because I had a Red Bull this morning. Bye, guys!